Hey there, lovely ladies. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's super important for all of you fabulous women over 50. Now, I know that many of you have been on the hunt for that perfect bob haircut, a style that's chic, timeless and versatile. But let's be real for a moment. Finding a haircut that makes you feel youthful and vibrant can sometimes feel like searching for a needle in a haystack, right? You may have found yourself staring at the mirror, wondering if your current bob makes you look older than you feel. Or perhaps you've tried a new style that just didn't work out. It's frustrating, I get it. The truth is, there are some common mistakes that many women make when it comes to bob haircuts, and I'm here to help you avoid them. Throughout this video, I'll be sharing 5 of the most common bob haircut mistakes that can instantly aid you, and more importantly, I'll provide you with easy-to-follow solutions to fix them. So, if you're ready to refresh your look and discover how to embrace your hair's natural beauty, grab your coffee or tea and let's get started. Now, I want you to really think about this. How often do we look in the mirror and feel a bit discouraged? You know, that moment when you think, is this really the best I can do? Well, I'm here to tell you that with the right tips and tricks, you can transform your bob into a style that not only flatters your features, but also boosts your confidence to new heights. Yes, it's possible. Imagine walking into a room and feeling like the best version of yourself, full of energy and radiance. That's what the right bob can do for you. And it doesn't have to be complicated. We'll go through each mistake step by step so you know exactly what to ask your stylist and how to achieve that perfect look. Before we jump into the first mistake, I want to hear from you. What's your biggest concern when it comes to choosing a bob haircut? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a supportive space where we can all share our experiences and learn from each other. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the first common bob haircut mistake that could be holding you back from looking and feeling your absolute best. All right, ladies, let's talk about the very first mistake that I see time and time again, the one-length bob. Now, at first glance, this style might seem like a safe and elegant choice. It's classic, it's clean, and it's often marketed as low maintenance. I mean, who doesn't love the idea of a hairstyle that's easy to manage, right? But here's the catch. A one-length bob can actually add years to your appearance if it's not done correctly. Picture this. When your bob is cut all at one length, it creates a solid, heavy line around your head. Instead of giving your hair movement and softness, it ends up looking blocky and can weigh down your entire face. As we age, gravity begins to take its toll, and a heavy, flat haircut only emphasizes that effect, making your face appear droopier and more square. Not exactly the youthful vibe we're going for. And let's be honest, a blunt cut can also draw attention to fine lines and sagging skin. We all know that as we mature, our hair texture changes, often becoming finer and thinner. A one-length bob can highlight those thinning areas instead of flattering them. The result? Rather than looking polished and vibrant, you might end up looking older and more tired than you feel. So why do so many stylists still recommend this haircut? Well, part of the reason is that a one-length bob is one of the easiest cuts for a stylist to execute. But what works best for them isn't always what works best for you. Haircutting for mature women requires a tailored approach that considers your unique face shape, hair density, and lifestyle needs. But don't worry, fixing this mistake is simpler than you might think, and it doesn't mean you have to give up the bob altogether. The key is to introduce subtle movement without drastically changing the shape. Here's what you can ask your stylist to do. 1. Request internal layering. This technique removes some of the weight from inside the haircut while keeping the overall silhouette intact. It allows your hair to move freely, preventing that stiff helmet-like look. 2. Add beveling at the ends. A slight bevel where the ends curve inward naturally helps your hair hug your face and follow your bone structure. This creates fullness without adding bulk. 3. Use gentle texturizing techniques. Your stylist can point cut or use thinning shears strategically to break up that solid line without making your hair look wispy or choppy. 4. Consider light face framing layers. Even the softest, shortest layers around your face can lift your cheekbones and open up your eyes, creating a more youthful appearance. By making these adjustments, you won't just get a haircut, you'll achieve a soft, flowing bob that flatters your features and rejuvenates your entire look. Remember, it's all about enhancing your natural beauty while embracing the changes that come with time. So, what do you think? Are you ready to ditch the one-length bob? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to the next mistake. Okay, ladies, let's move on to mistake number 2, the reverse bob. Now, this style was quite a trendsetter a few years back, and it might still seem like a bold and edgy choice. Many women are drawn to the idea of a reverse bob because it feels unique and trendy. But let me tell you, as we age, this particular style often works against our natural beauty, especially for women over 50. So why is the reverse bob problematic? Well, first and foremost, it creates a very specific shape that affects how your face and body are perceived. The longest part of the hair sits lower at the nape of your neck, which pulls the eye downward. For many of us, the neck area can be one of the places where skin laxity or posture changes become more noticeable as we age. Instead of lifting and framing your face, this cut unintentionally emphasizes areas that we might prefer to downplay. Another issue is that the reverse bob visually shortens your neck. A longer nape can crowd the neck, making it appear shorter and thicker, which can result in an overall silhouette that feels less graceful and elongated. For those of us with round, square or heart-shaped faces, this style can create an imbalance that pulls the lower half of the face forward, which isn't flattering at all. And let's not forget, this style feels a bit outdated. While it was trendy in the early 2000s, it can now give off a vibe that feels stuck in the past. Nothing ages your look faster than a hairstyle that screams a previous decade, right? Now, many women unknowingly choose the reverse bob in hopes that it adds volume and drama. Sure, it might feel that way for a short time, but as your hair grows out, that imbalance becomes even more pronounced. Plus, the maintenance can be frustrating and costly, especially when the cut creates a heavy appearance at the bottom while offering little to no lift at the crown. So, what should you do instead? The solution is all about reversing the reverse bob. You want a shape that gently slopes forward rather than back. Here's how to achieve that. 1. Choose a slight forward angle. Instead of having longer hair in the back, ask your stylist to keep the nape area shorter while allowing the hair to gradually lengthen toward the front. This creates a soft, elegant frame for your face. 2. Follow your natural jawline. The most flattering angles mimic your bone structure. This way, your cheekbones are highlighted and your jawline appears more defined. 3. Avoid severe angles. Steer clear of dramatic drops below your chin. A moderate slope will create movement and softness without looking harsh. 4. Balance with subtle layering. Adding light internal layers can give you the volume you want at the crown without sacrificing the clean lines of the bob. When done correctly, a softly angled bob will slim and elongate your neck, creating lift and structure around your face. You'll look modern, elegant, and effortlessly polished. So, what do you think about the reverse bob? Have you ever tried it? Let's chat about your experiences in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the next common mistake that could be aging your look. Alright ladies, let's dive into mistake number 3, the overly dramatic angled bob. Now, I know this style might look fashionable and edgy at first glance. Some of you might be drawn to the idea of long front pieces that fall well below the chin, creating a sharp angle from back to front. It seems like it could elongate the face and slim the jawline, right? Well, here's the thing. While there's a grain of truth to that, the danger comes when the angle becomes too extreme. So, what exactly happens when the angle is too dramatic? First off, it disconnects the haircut. A beautiful bob should flow naturally with the shape of your head and face, but when the front pieces extend too far down while the back remains short, it creates a strong disconnect that draws immediate attention to your lower face. Instead of looking cohesive, your hair starts to resemble two completely different haircuts fused together. This visual imbalance can highlight areas you might prefer to soften, like a sagging jawline or fuller cheeks. Second, an extreme angle throws off your facial proportions. The goal of any great haircut, especially for us fabulous women over 50, is to balance our features and subtly lift them. A sharply angled bob drags attention downward, which can exaggerate length in the lower face. Over time, this can make your features feel weighed down rather than uplifted, which is the opposite of what we want. Another downside? It's harder to maintain. Extreme angled bobs require constant upkeep to keep those lines clean and sharp. As your hair grows, the angles can quickly lose their precision, leaving you with an unbalanced and often awkward look. And let's be honest, for many women over 50, maintaining this type of haircut can become quite the chore. Lastly, this style can age poorly. While bold angles might work well in your 20s and 30s, as we mature, softness becomes our best friend. Hard, geometric lines tend to harden our facial features, making wrinkles or skin laxity more noticeable. So, what should you ask your stylist to do instead? Here are a few tips for achieving a beautiful soft angle that enhances your features. 1. Aim for balance. Keep the front length slightly longer than your chin, but avoid extending too far past your jawline. This creates a lifting effect rather than a pulling effect. 2. Start the angle near the ear. Beginning the slope just behind the ear allows the haircut to follow your natural bone structure, providing harmony between the front and back. 3. Blend with face framing layers. Soft layering near your face adds movement and prevents the front from looking too heavy, helping to highlight your cheekbones and lift your eyes. 4. Use internal layering for volume. Instead of creating drama through extreme angles, aim for dimension through layering. This will give your bob that youthful movement and body we all love. When done correctly, a softly angled bob will accentuate your best features and feel light and effortless. Plus, it will grow out beautifully with minimal maintenance, keeping your look modern and sophisticated. So, what do you think about the overly dramatic angled bob? Have you tried it? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the next common mistake that could be impacting your fabulous look. Okay, ladies, let's talk about mistake number 4, the high nape bob. At first glance, this haircut might seem like a bold and structured choice. Some of you may think that cutting the nape high will create the illusion of a longer neck or a sleeker silhouette, but here's the reality. For many women over 50, cutting the nape too high can create more problems than it solves. So why is the high nape bob such a common pitfall? First and foremost, it disrupts the harmony of your haircut. When the nape is cut too high above the occipital bone, it essentially creates two separate haircuts. A short crop shape in the back and a longer, heavier shape in the front. This disconnection can be visually jarring and disrupts the natural flow of your hairstyle. Instead of having a unified, flattering silhouette that gracefully frames your head and face, you might end up with an awkward division between front and back. Another issue is that a high nape accentuates the front length too much. By shortening the back excessively, you create a sharp contrast with the longer front sections. This can make the front look even bulkier and heavier. For those of you with fine or thinning hair, this can expose more scalp at the back, making your hair appear even thinner than it is. Not exactly the look we're aiming for. Additionally, cutting the nape too high can visually shorten your neck. A harsh cutoff point at the back can make the neck look thicker and shorter, especially when paired with the heavier front sections that tend to pull the head downward. This can create an overall silhouette that feels less graceful and elongated. Lastly, the high nape bob can inadvertently exaggerate facial fullness. If you're concerned about fullness in your cheeks or jawline, this style can draw more attention to those areas, making them feel more pronounced. So, what can you do instead? The solution is simple. Lower the nape and soften the transition. Here's how to achieve that perfect bob. 1. Keep the nape lower. Instead of cutting above the occipital bone, allow the nape to sit slightly lower. This gives the back of your head a more natural rounded shape that flatters your neck. 2. Use graduated layers instead of sharp stacking. Soft. Graduated layers provide volume and shape without creating harsh lines. This technique adds fullness at the crown while maintaining a soft and flowing silhouette. 3. Balance the angle of the front. If you choose to have some forward length, make sure it gently slopes toward the chin rather than creating a severe contrast between front and back. 4. Blend the transition. Ensure your stylist connects the front and back seamlessly so the haircut feels cohesive rather than divided into two parts. When executed correctly, a softly graduated bob with a lower nape will naturally elongate your neck, create the illusion of lift and youthfulness, and provide volume in all the right places. You'll look polished, sophisticated, and effortlessly elegant. So, what do you think about the high nape bob? Have you ever tried it? Let's discuss your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the final common mistake that could be affecting your fabulous look. Alright ladies, we've made it to mistake number 5. Leaving the front of your bob completely unlayered while only layering the back. Now, at first, this may seem like a conservative and simple approach. However, this mistake can lead to one of the most unflattering outcomes for mature women. Let me explain why this is such a common pitfall and how to avoid it. When you leave the front of your hair flat while layering the back, you create a major imbalance in your hairstyle. The back becomes light, airy, and full of movement, while the front appears dense, heavy, and static. This can be particularly problematic because layered backs naturally push some of the hair forward. Without corresponding layering in the front, that added bulk sits directly along your jawline, cheeks, and chin, the very areas that many women prefer to soften as they age. Not only does this create an unflattering look, but it also emphasizes facial heaviness. If you've started to notice fuller cheeks, a softening jawline, or slight sagging under the chin, this front-heavy appearance can highlight those areas instead of balancing them out. The heavy curtain of hair frames your face, drawing attention away from your eyes and cheekbones, and instead focuses everything on the lower half of your face. Another downside of this approach is that the haircut doesn't grow out well. A bob that's layered only in the back and flat in the front may look decent right after it's cut, but as it grows, the imbalance becomes more pronounced. The weight in the front continues to build while the back thins out, leading to constant trims and adjustments to keep it looking presentable. You might be wondering why some stylists still do this. Sometimes they avoid layering the front because they worry about over-thinning the hair or making it look too wispy, especially for those of us with fine hair. While the intention is good, the result is often counterproductive. The reality is that well-executed layering doesn't have to remove volume. It can actually create the illusion of more movement, lift, and softness. So how can you fix this mistake? The goal is not to eliminate length, but to add movement and shape in the front without sacrificing fullness. Here's what you should ask your stylist. 1. Introduce gentle face framing layers. These layers should begin around cheekbone level and blend softly down toward the chin. This opens up your face, draws attention to your eyes, and visually lifts your features. 2. Use internal layering to reduce bulk. Internal layering removes excess weight from inside the haircut without thinning the overall density. This allows your hair to move naturally and eliminates that heavy, helmet-like appearance. 3. Balance the back and front layers. Ensure your stylist connects the back layering with the front so that your bob feels cohesive and well put together. 4. Customize for your face shape. For rounder faces, layers can start slightly higher to elongate the appearance of the face, while for longer or slimmer faces, layers can begin lower to add softness and width where needed. When done correctly, layering in the front can transform your bob into a beautifully balanced shape that frames your face perfectly. You'll achieve that lift and softness that flatters your best features, along with natural movement that keeps your haircut feeling fresh and modern. So, what do you think about the idea of layering in the front? Have you tried it before? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Now let's wrap up with some important tips that will help you maintain your fabulous bob. Alright ladies, before we wrap things up, I want to share with you a simple but extremely important bonus tip that applies to any bob haircut, no matter which version you choose. This tip is all about how you style your bob, specifically when it comes to curling the ends of your hair. Now, many of us instinctively reach for a round brush or curling iron to add a little bounce or body to our bob. But here's the thing, over-curling the ends can actually aid your bob instead of enhancing it. I know it might sound counterintuitive, but stick with me for a moment. When the ends of your bob are curled too tightly under, several things can happen that you definitely want to avoid. First, it creates a boxy, squared-off shape that flattens your haircut and can make your face appear wider. Instead of achieving that soft, flowing look you're after, you might end up with a style that feels harsh and dated. Second, those sharp bends draw attention to the lower half of your face, emphasizing any fullness or softness along the jawline or neck. The last thing we want is to highlight areas we prefer to soften, right? And let's not forget that this type of heavy flipping was popular decades ago, but it doesn't suit the modern, softer aesthetic we're going for today. The goal should always be to keep things current and elegant. So, what's the solution? Instead of tightly curling the ends, aim for subtle movement. Use a large barrel curling iron or a blow dryer to create soft, gentle bends starting from mid-shaft rather than at the very ends. This technique allows the ends to fall naturally with just a slight curve for movement, giving you that effortless, flowing look. By doing this, you'll create a hairstyle that feels fresh and flattering, and you'll enhance your overall appearance. Remember, the goal is always to keep the eye moving upward and outward, not downward and inward. As you experiment with your styling, keep in mind that achieving a sophisticated bob is all about balance. With the right techniques, you can transform an ordinary haircut into something extraordinary. So what do you think about this styling tip? Have you ever found yourself over-curling your bob? Share your experiences and any additional tips you have in the comments below. I love hearing from all of you. Now that we've covered all 5 common mistakes, along with this important bonus tip, you're well on your way to rocking a fabulous bob that enhances your natural beauty. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments, and don't forget to stay tuned for more tips and tricks in our next video. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you all embrace your beautiful bobs. Wow, ladies, we've covered a lot today. From the 5 common bob haircut mistakes that can aid you to the essential styling tips that can breathe new life into your look. I hope you're feeling empowered and ready to embrace your fabulous hair. Remember, a well-chosen bob can truly transform not just your appearance, but also your confidence and how you feel about yourself every single day. Let's quickly recap what we discussed. We explored the pitfalls of the one-length bob, the reverse bob, the overly dramatic angled bob, the high nape bob, and the unlayered front. Each of these mistakes can affect how youthful and vibrant you look, but the good news is that they're all easily fixable. By making just a few adjustments, like adding layers, opting for softer angles, and avoiding over-curling, you can create a style that not only flatters your features, but also makes you feel beautiful and confident. Now, if you've learned something valuable today, I'd love to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway? Are there any tips you're excited to try? Please take a moment to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback is so important to me, and I want to create a community where we can all share our experiences and support one another in our journeys to look and feel our best. And if you have any questions or specific concerns about your current bob, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help you, and I want to make sure you have all the information you need to make the best choices for your hair. Before we wrap up, I want to encourage you to keep exploring and experimenting with your style. Hair is such a personal expression of who we are, and it should reflect our unique beauty and personality. So, whether you're thinking of trying a new cut or just want to refine your existing look, remember to embrace the process. You deserve to feel fabulous at every age. If you found this video helpful, it would mean the world to me if you could give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel grow and reach more amazing women like you. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay updated on all the latest tips and tricks we'll be sharing in the future. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Your support means everything. I can't wait to see you all in the next video, where we'll continue to celebrate beauty, style, and confidence together. Until then, take care and keep shining.